opened my eyes reluctantly after switching sides for the nth time. Yeah, I was feeling hungry and my stomach growled. Yes, I was abducted, yet I was in this luxurious room. I should hate that man, but I was kinda making out with him last night. I walked over to the door and as I expected, it was locked. Anyways, I took some time enjoying the scenery and taking in the map of the mansion. Yes, a freaking mansion. I walked back to the room, plopping onto the bed trying to make my brain work. But somewhere inside, I knew I was liking this. Call it adventure or whatever. The door opened, revealing Jungkook wearing a tuxedo, perfectly kissing his stoned body with a tray in his hand. A mafia with a tray, not an everyday door though. He walked over to the bed as my eyes followed him and then he placed it in front of me. Breakfast, I swear I wanted to kick it away so bad because of my ego, but it looked so delicious. I won't, I murmured, crawling a bit away from him as he was sitting on the side of the bed, and I swear I caught him smiling. Come on, love, who says no to food? I do. I snapped at him and he sighed. You don't have a choice here, have your breakfast. His tone got somewhat serious, but I kept up with my act. And the next moment I knew I was up in the air in his arms and he pecked my forehead. Morning, and my heart squealed at those doe eyes. And then, sitting on bed, he made me sit on his lap. An arm wrapped around my waist in a string grip, and yes, I was unable to get off. So I got up my little fight. I avoided his gaze to hide my crimson cheeks. What? Who wouldn't blush sitting in his lap? But then my eyes fell on the door and it was open. I heard a ding in my mind and I swear my brain never worked this fast. He brought a bite near my mouth and I pretended to accidentally spill it by hitting my elbow. And yes, I distracted him. Then I got out of his hold in blink of an eye and spilled the whole tray on him. Please don't kill me for this. I made a dash and looking back I saw him getting up only to slip on the floor and groaning in vain. Ouch, that must have hurt. I ran down the huge stairs and halted in my steps when I saw some maids passing, just as the gate opened when a car was heading out, and my eyes glistened with a fragment of hope. A familiar scent entered my nostrils. My eyes widened and my heart skipped a beat. Squinting my eyes tightly, I murmured, Not him, not him, not him. But then someone held me from my collar from the back and I already imagined my funeral. I was lifted from the ground and held from my waist. I knew who it was and didn't dare say a word when I was being dragged inside. I am so dead. I let out an ouch when I was thrown on the bed and he took off his coat and threw it on the side. And the next moment, his nose was touching mine. His arms on both sides of me, and yes, I was being pinned. I held in my breath and yes, felt butterflies when he bit his inner cheek. That was so hot of him. Love, I was stunned by his calm tone because I thought I was gonna end up in a grave, but that doesn't seem the case here. I'm saying this for the first and last time. I gave a slight nod, waiting for him to continue. Don't try to escape or the consequence won't be good. You can't get away from me, so better not tire yourself, huh? I blinked at him in a way. How can someone not be angry at this? If it was me, I would be screaming at him right now. He is odd. I'll tell the maid to bring you another meal and clean up. There are clothes in wardrobe, if you're wondering. I'll be back by 7. Let's talk then, Okay. So he isn't killing me, instead pampering me, but why? Now this is getting more weird. Firstly, he is holding me hostage or whatever, so I shouldn't be in his room. Secondly, I shouldn't be getting this VIP treatment, but I am, and he's making me fall for him when I should hate him. I am expecting an answer here. Okay. I barely murmured and he left after pecking my cheek and I may or may not have spaced out. Only when I heard the thud of the room, I came back into senses. I sat up straight, questioning what just happened, and noticed dark stains on my top. Wait, is that blood? My brows furrowed at the red stains on my top, and then my gaze fell on the floor, only to see a trail of drops there too, which eventually ended at the door. I looked at the mess I have created and noticed the broken pieces of glass. All of a sudden, my eyes fell on the red shade on one of the glass pieces, and realization dawned upon me. It was Jungkook's blood. He got hurt when he slipped because of me. The days passed. I was given a lot of things more than I needed. I felt more like a guest than a prisoner. When he came, the first thing he did was staring at me from top to toe, followed by a nod, followed by a small smile, almost discreet, and I blushed like a creep. The maids left after serving us dinner, and somewhere inside I wished he would feed me just like in the morning. But my bad. The dinner was almost silent, but he asked, "How was your day?" I had a very nice day, and yes, had my meals on time too. I didn't try to escape too. Now, can I go home? His eyes met mine, and he murmured a small no. That's when I threw a tantrum. Why? Like I'm just a burden, and I'm not of any use, so... Remember, you signed a contract. And I went suddenly still. That says you're my property. I blinked at him, giving a what the hell you're talking about look. So you mean I'm caged in here my whole life, living as your entertainer? I swear I have got an awful humor. You're what, my guardian? He looked at me like in my soul, and in a deep tone he spoke. I'm your husband. And I didn't dare to say anything after that, because I knew my whole face must have turned red when he said that. A flood of embarrassment. Later that night, when I was almost asleep after preparing for college, he gave me permission that I can go to college. After changing in his night clothes, he was talking on his phone when I noticed the wound above his elbow. It was a huge wound. Blood had clotted already, but it might get infected and he might die because of me. Well, he won't die still. My soft heart. I pretended to be asleep when he crawled onto the bed and back-hugged me. Back-hugged me. I swear I was losing my mind when he pecked my shoulder and said, "Night, love." I wasn't breathing until I heard him snoring, but then a cold sensation on my back disturbed me until I noticed a sticky liquid and realized he was bleeding. Oh my god, I shouldn't care, but I am. I am a to-be doctor after all. Tiptoeing to the bathroom, I came back with a first aid kit and treated his wound. Yes, I turned on the lamp, and yes, I blushed with my heart squealing when I saw his collarbones. Gladly his chest, shirtless one, was covered with duet, or I might have needed a cold shower. It turned out that he was a deep sleeper, and I managed to band-aid his wound without waking him up, or maybe he had been so tired that he is lost in his own world. Either way, it worked out for me. And after that, I went to sleep too, but made sure to make a pillow castle between us so he couldn't get to me. Night passed and I opened my eyes, and the first thing I saw was John Jungkook in tux, looking dashing as ever. He was fixing his collar in the mirror, and I clenched on the sheets, eyeing him shamelessly. Like what? He's right in front of my eyes, and I can't deny his body proportions are insane. Just when he turned around, I closed my eyes pretending to be asleep, and I heard footsteps inching closer to me. Am I caught? I heard him clearing his throat not much later, and I realized I was caught, so I decided to play the dumb card. I squinted my eyes, keeping my voice hoarse. He bent over to me as I sat up, and for a moment I jumped. "Help me with the tie, please." For some time my eyeballs went across his face and tie, but I gave in at the end. And it would be a lie if I said I didn't notice that light smirk. He's playing dumb along. Thankfully, I knew how to do tie, all thanks to my late mom. With it done, I moved back, but he placed his hand on small of my back, stopping me in the way. It feels like you wanna ask something. Go ahead. Why do you dress like that? I mean, aren't you a gangster or something? Correction, Mafia. And I went still. Now that explains why he lives in this huge mansion and why is he so filthy rich. And I own my own company, so I go to work there every day. And then I got another heart attack when he pecked my lips. Thanks for the band-aid, love. Not to mention that killer smile, my poor heart too. Things are going well now. You started going to college. He took all the restrictions away from you. He let you do whatever you wanted. He promised you that one day he will let you meet Jisoo. But time passes, he stopped talking about it and your suspicions started to grow. Even in college, if someone tried to bully you, Jungkook or his guards took them down. You doubt whether Jisoo is alive by now. One day after college, you decided to visit Jisoo's place. Somehow you managed to fool Jungkook's guards and get out. I looked around, taken in my surroundings, and I don't know when did I grow this brave, but I'm doing what I want now. I will go to Busan and save myself. The assumptions are killing me inside. Jungkook's point of view. I went to her college to pick her up, but she was not standing in her usual spot. I tried to call her, but her phone is switched off. Did she run away? I guess I'll find my answers now. I stood in front of her apartment at the verge of breaking apart. Across this door is what determines my future. I rang the bell, taking a deep breath, my fist clencing and my heart throbbing already. A few moments passed and I rang the bell again, this time calling her name out. I heard someone behind me and turned around to see an elderly woman. I bowed a bit, holding in my tears before asking, "Excuse me, do you perhaps know where the owner is?" She gazed at the door and then me. "Dear, I haven't seen anyone here for a while. It's been months. I thought they moved out." She left in the lift and I covered my mouth, dropping to my knees. "He killed her?" And hot tears rushed out. I should have heard my instinct. She died because of me, my Jisoo. And I don't remember how long I sat there, crying until my insides started to hurt, and tears refused to rush out anymore. He had one thing over me, and now she's gone too. He wants me, and I won't let him what he wants. He'll suffer, and I'll take my revenge. But first, I have to hide. He's a devil in angel skin. I hate you, Jungkook. I looked up, my hands covering my ears, my eyeballs ready to fall out, and my heart throbbing in my chest. All I could hear was a beep, and then a pair of orbs met mine. He was holding a gun in one hand, while his other hand was fisted, veins screaming. And his expression, I fear that expression. He's not Jungkook now, he's a ruthless mafia. And I am so doomed. I was pinned to the wall with a hand around my throat, choking me with his breath, brushing my face and his bloodshot eyes piercing into mine. "My sweet wifey," he grinned as a psychotic patient. "Time for punishment." I looked at him and my heart displaced. He's a beast, a devil, a nightmare. His veins were popping out, his eyes were dark as hell, his gaze was deadliest as ever. His jaw was clenched and he gritted his teeth. Only smoke was left to rush out of his ears. Whatever was gonna happen, it won't be good. And I hated everything. Hated that I was back again in arms of a murderer. Hated the heat between my legs. I pushed him away by his chest. I was pulled back by my hair and slammed onto the wall. Tears fell out as I groaned and yelped in pain, and my knees felt weak when he pointed the gun to my head. And I despised meeting his eyes, so I clenched my eyes, turning my head away, waiting for the bullet to come in. But next moment, I jumped with the sound of a gunshot. "You're mine," he gritted before slamming his lips on mine, and I squealed. The gun was poking in my throat and I stopped wiggling. No matter how much I say I'm fearless, I still don't have a death wish. No one wants to die. Everyone fears death, and I'm one of them. The kiss was harsh, rough, punishing, full of rage. It was assaulting, and I absolutely hated the guilty pleasure I was having from it. I should be terrified, but the thirst of lust was blinding me. The gun traveled to my chest down between my breast, and I stopped moving. I heard him growl, pulling my head as he fisted my hair, getting all of me at once, and I wiggled once again when I found his tongue. I pushed him away, gasping for air, but after a few beats, his mouth was on mine again, and I refused to push him away anymore. It felt too good. "Didn't I tell you not to run away?" And I was tasting my own blood. "Didn't I tell you I won't be nice?" He placed his forehead on mine, glaring in my eyes down to my soul, and I felt vulnerable out of the blue. "You broke my trust." He smiled bitterly, and I grabbed the opportunity, pushing him away with all my strength, rushing in my bedroom and closing the door in a panic, but his foot caught in and I trembled. The loud noises of his breathing and his bloodshot eyes screamed danger, and I knew I would regret if I don't get away from him now. Pushed it open all the way, and I stood in the middle of the room gasping for air. His hand traveled to his belt, unbuckling it, and I jumped with the sound. "Did I ever force myself on you?" He stepped closer. "No." "Did I keep you as my—" his tone getting bitter. "You kept me as your wife." "Did I cheat on you? Not give you time? Caged you in my place? Abuse you? Harm you? Assault you? Did I?" "No, no, no." I shook my head vigorously, tears rushing out non-stop. "Then why?" "Because you're a murderer. You take lives while I save them. That's the truth." I refuse to believe in any truth that takes you away from me. He pulled me by my waist, inhaling my scent, and then stepped back himself, rubbing his hands on his face harshly. "Your clothes, I want them off." I stopped breathing. "What?" "I want your clothes off, sweetheart." His gaze darkened, and I did what he said. Because I loved the murderer right before me. Even at this moment, I can't bring myself to say no to him. I can't bring myself to hate him. I want to hate him, so I'll do as he wills. The skirt dropped on my ankles, and the blouse was on the floor. I took off my shoes and threw them away, leaving me in bra and matching panties. Sick of me to do this for him. My body burnt with anticipation. Skin screamed to be touched by him. That's how ugly desires are. He stood there, watching me from head to toe and the other way around, while I soaked my panties, seeing how he gazed me as his prey. His fingers choked my neck and his lips were back on my mouth. "Take my shirt off," he barked, and I did, unbuttoning it slowly and slowly until his specs were making my eyes shine. He took it off, throwing it away, and this time planting kisses on my cheek, down to my neck and collarbone, and my nails dug on his shoulders. This was supposed to make me hate him. My body was loving this. I was loving this, and I absolutely hated the fact. How his palms ran across my back, how his tongue worked its way on me, how he murmured sweet nothings, how he made my lips swell, and how he bruised my body with hickeys. "Are you wet for me, love?" And I hid my face in his chest, refusing to acknowledge the fact. I found darkness engulfing my thoughts, and I remember whispering, "I hate you.